The Galactic War Council's emergency session had been called after the Battle of Kepler 442b. Representatives from 40 species sat in horrified silence as they reviewed the footage. Again. Play it once more, insisted Ambassador Thex of the Rig-Elian Confederation, his tentacles trembling. The hologram showed a standard battlefield. 2 armies arranged in traditional formation, energy shields glowing, plasma artillery ready. The Vorthan Empire's forces outnumbered the human volunteers 3-1. It should have been a massacre. It was, just not the way anyone expected. The recording showed the human unit, merely 500 soldiers, receiving the Vorthans' opening barrage. Shields flickered and failed. Armor cracked. Humans fell. Then something changed. The survivors didn't retreat. They didn't seek cover. They laughed. "Enhance audio," Thex whispered. The chamber filled with the sound of human voices. "Is that all you've got? My grandmother hits harder." "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" What followed defied every military doctrine in the galaxy. The humans charged. Not in formation, not with strategy. They ran straight at the enemy lines, screaming incoherently about someone named Leroy Jenkins. Half were singing different songs. One was narrating his own actions like a sports commentator. The Vorthans, trained for millennia in civilized warfare, simply didn't know how to respond. Their commander later reported, "They threw their helmets at us." Who throws helmets? One human bit through my armor. Bit through military-grade composite. But that wasn't the worst part. Show them what happened when Private Johnson was hit. The human representative, Admiral Beth Hawkins, said quietly. The footage focused on a young human taking a plasma bolt to the shoulder. His arm was hanging uselessly. Any other species would have collapsed. Johnson looked at his damaged limb, then at the Vorthan who shot him and grinned. "You bastard!" He screamed. "I'm left-handed." He proceeded to beat 3 Vorthans unconscious with his own severed arm. The Vorthan line broke. Disciplined soldiers who had conquered worlds ran from humans hopping on one leg, using their rifles as clubs because they'd run out of ammunition and deemed reloading boring. The retreat became a rout when one human figured out how to hotwire a Vorthan tank and began doing what he called sick donuts in the middle of the battlefield. "This is just one incident," protested the Zephyrian delegate. Admiral Hawkins sighed. "Should I show them Sigma Draconis?" The footage switched. This time, human forces were defending a colony against the hegemony. The humans had been under siege for 6 months, cut off from supplies. They should have been starving, demoralized, weak. The hegemony forces found the humans had turned the entire colony into what they called a tactical jungle gym. They'd built zip lines between buildings, turned sewage systems into water slides of doom, and somehow trained the local wildlife to attack anything wearing hegemony colors. The breaking point came when the hegemony's supreme general stepped on what the humans called a Lego minefield. The recording showed the massive warrior, a being who had endured plasma burns without flinching, falling to his knees, screaming in agony from stepping on tiny plastic blocks. "They're insane," breathed the Andromedan counselor. "Completely, utterly insane." "We prefer alternatively tactical," Admiral Hawkins corrected. "But I understand your concerns. We've noticed the issue ourselves." "Issue?" Thex's voice cracked. "Your soldiers used a medical evacuation shuttle as a battering ram while blasting something called Ride of the Valkyries. They turned our most sacred battlefield into what they called a mosh pit. In our defense, Johnson had just learned his favorite Earth band was touring again. He got excited. The council chamber erupted in dozens of languages, all expressing the same sentiment. Humans were too dangerous for warfare. Not because they were stronger or better armed, but because they fundamentally didn't understand how war was supposed to work. "We've fought wars for millions of years," the Elder Celestian representative intoned. "We have rules, formations, honor. Humans have. What did your soldier call it?" "Fuck around and find out energy, sir," Hawkins replied with a straight face. The vote was unanimous. Humans were banned from all military conflicts between other species. The official reason cited fundamental incompatibility with standard military doctrine. The unofficial reason, whispered in secure channels, was simpler. They were terrified. Earth took the ban surprisingly well. They redirected their military to what they called extreme sports and disaster relief. Somehow, human disaster relief was even more terrifying than their warfare. They'd rappel into active volcanoes to rescue trapped miners while arguing about movie rankings. They'd surf tsunami waves to deliver medical supplies. One group became famous for playing cards during asteroid impact evacuations. Years later, when the scourge arrived from beyond the galaxy, beings that consumed entire worlds, the Galactic Council faced annihilation. Every fleet was shattered. Every defense crumbled. In desperation, they sent one message to Earth. Ban lifted. Please help. For everyone's safety. The human response was immediate. Hell yeah. Hold our beer. The scourge, ancient beings who had devoured 1,000 civilizations, fled the galaxy after encountering humans who tried to domesticate them as pets. The last recorded scourge transmission roughly translated to, "The furry one with the death wish keeps trying to boop our sensory organs. They think we're cute. Cute. We are the devourers of worlds." The ban was reinstated the next day. This time, humans were also banned from first contact situations. Admiral Hawkins accepted the new restrictions gracefully. "We understand. But just remember, if you need someone to do something stupidly dangerous that no sane being would attempt, we'll call you," the council replied in unison. And they did, often, because sometimes the galaxy needed beings who looked at impossible odds and responded with bet.